And we're back here at Boom and Bust with Peter Menzies. He's a senior fellow at MacDonald Laurier Institute. Peter, you've also written about the online harms bill. What is that, and why is that such a bad idea?
Well, online harms is ostensibly about keeping policing bad behavior on the internet. And it's been sold so far as saying, this is going to cut back on hate speech. It'll cut back on, accessibility of child pornography. It'll cut back on people uh, sharing of intimate images against somebody's will, and a couple other areas. All of those things are already intimidation and encouraging terrorism. All of those things are already illegal. So if you look behind that veil, what's there, right? Um, and that likely means a different definition of hate speech online than the one we have in the criminal code, and different definitions of all these sorts of things, because meeting that high bar that the criminal code quite rightly sets for hate speech, if you're going to defend freedom of speech, there is going to be speech that people find offensive,
Hmm.
and there's even going to be speech that people find troubling. But that's the price you pay in a democracy is
Right.
is you have to learn to be offended and argue back against it. But it looks like sort of setting up an internet speech czar of some kind. A digital safety commissioner has been the term bandied around, who could be able to order takedowns of websites and posts and that sort of stuff to sort of usurp the work that social media companies are doing right now on their own. So I think
Yeah.
it's a solution in search of a problem. But as long as people are trying to suppress other people's speech, pressure for this will continue.
Yeah, and it also makes the government, by extension, with this commissioner, the arbiter of what is acceptable and what is unacceptable speech, which obviously in our divided society is going to be an issue, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at the events of the past week, where protesters are out protesting about the different types of gender education and sex education in schools and that sort of stuff. And people are screaming names back and forth and that sort of stuff. I mean, honestly, we've got to get to some sort of point in society where people can engage and share different views on issues without just demonizing each other, right? And the state we're in right now, something like this digital safety commissioner or government deciding what is good speech and bad speech. I mean, what's more dangerous, a little bit of over the top speech online, or a government telling you what is right and wrong for you to say? I would say that the solution to this problem is much more terrifying than the problem itself.
Well, we'll see what happens with that bill. Obviously, it looks like the Liberals are committed to it going ahead, but we'll keep a watchful eye on that. Wanted to talk. I want to get back to the kind of the relationship with the tech giants for a second. I noticed that Google is not releasing its new AI offerings in Canada. Is Canada in danger of becoming a backwater when it comes to new technology innovation?
Yes, it is. I mean, at least from the Google side of things. I mean, one of the things to remember is that there are other search engines. Bing has a search engine owned by a little tiny little company called Microsoft, right?
Mhm.
Apple, which is no slouch either, is apparently coming out with a search engine in the fall, probably AI based and that sort of stuff. So there is a world beyond Google, and there is a world beyond Facebook. The internet is a big space, but everybody looks around the neighborhood and sees what's going on. And if they see an environment which is hostile to investment, and one in which they think, um, you know, the, they, the the return on investment isn't going to be worth the risks of that investment, they're going to hold back. That's just natural. And it's not just the communications industry where this is happening in Canada. This is becoming pretty widespread. Business wants stability.
Right, indeed. We're going to take another break with our guest, Peter Menzies, Senior Fellow, MacDonald Laurier Institute. We'll be back after these messages.